When we look at the Quran, we often find verses that guide us in prayer, fasting, or laws of life. But there are also chapters that invite us to think deeper, to open our eyes, and to see the world around us as a living sign of God. One of those chapters is Surah Al-An'am, the 6th chapter of the Quran. The word Al-An'am means the cattle, referring to animals that people use for food and livelihood. But this surah is about much more than cattle. It is about the order of creation, the purpose of life, and the signs of God spread across the universe. This surah was revealed in Makkah during a time when the Prophet Muhammad faced resistance from his people. The Quraysh worshipped idols, and they demanded miracles as proof of his message. Instead of giving them a show, God revealed a chapter filled with arguments, evidence, and reflections that point to the greatest miracle of all, the universe itself. Surah Al-An'am is long, 165 verses, and it covers many themes. But at its core, it is about Tawhid, the oneness of God. The surah repeatedly asks, who created the heavens and the earth? Who brings light and darkness? Who sends down rain, grows the crops, and gives life? The answer is always the same. It is Allah alone. The idols that people worship are powerless. They cannot create, they cannot provide, they cannot even protect themselves. By pointing to the natural world, the sun, the stars, the animals, the rain, the plants, the surah makes us realize that belief in God is not blind faith. It is faith rooted in observation, in reflection, and in reason. Let's pause and think. Every day we see the sunrise and sunset. We eat food grown from the earth. We breathe air, drink water, and watch the cycle of life continue. The Quran calls these not just natural events, but signs of a Creator who sustains everything with wisdom and precision. Surah Al-An'am says, "It is He who created for you the stars, so that you may be guided through them in the darkness of land and sea. We have made the signs clear for people who know." 697. In this one verse, we see how the stars are not random. They are signs. They guide travelers at night, they inspire reflection, and they remind us of a vast universe beyond ourselves. Another verse says, "It is He who produces gardens trellised and untrellised, and date palms, and crops of different shape and taste, olives and pomegranates similar and dissimilar. Eat of their fruit when they ripen, but pay the due thereof on the day of harvest." 641. Here, the surah highlights diversity in creation. Fruits look similar but taste different. Plants share features but also have unique qualities. This variety is not chaos, it is intentional design, a sign of divine wisdom. Surah Al-An'am constantly invites us to think, not just to believe blindly, but to observe, analyze, and use reason. It reminds us that the Quran itself is a form of proof, but so is the universe. The sky above, the earth beneath, the cattle in the field, all are part of God's message. This surah challenges idol worshippers. Can your idols create rain? Can they bring life from the dead? Can they guide you to truth? If not, then why follow them? In our time, the same challenge applies. We may not bow to stone idols, but many people worship money, status, or desires. Surah Al-An'am reminds us that only God is worthy of ultimate trust and devotion. Surah Al-An'am is not just about recognizing signs, it is also about responding to them. With knowledge comes responsibility. If God created the cattle, then we must use them ethically, not wastefully. If God provides food, then we must be grateful and avoid arrogance. If God shows us signs in the stars and the earth, then we must live with humility and responsibility toward creation. The surah also emphasizes that guidance is from God alone. The prophet cannot force people to believe. His duty is to deliver the message. Similarly, our duty is to convey truth, not to control outcomes. Why is Surah Al-An'am important today? Because in a modern world full of technology and science, people sometimes separate faith from reason. But this surah shows that faith and reason are not enemies. They are partners. When a scientist studies the stars, he sees physical laws. When a believer studies the stars, he sees both laws and the lawgiver. When a farmer grows crops, he sees biology. When a believer grows crops, he also sees God's blessing. Surah Al-An'am teaches us that science explains the how, but the Quran explains the why. Both lead to the same truth. The universe is a sign of God. One of the most comforting verses in this surah is, "And with him are the keys of the unseen. None knows them but he. He knows whatever is in the land and the sea. Not a leaf falls, but he knows it." 659. This verse is deeply personal. Imagine every leaf that falls from a tree. God knows it. Every wave in the ocean, every grain of sand, every hidden thought in your heart. God knows it. This is not just knowledge of power. It is knowledge of care. It means that you are never alone. Your struggles, your fears, your tears, God is aware of them all. Surah Al-An'am is not just a chapter of history. It is a living message. It tells us to open our eyes to the universe around us. It tells us that faith is not blind. It is rooted in evidence and signs. It tells us that every blessing comes with responsibility. And it tells us that God's knowledge surrounds us, giving comfort and hope. So the next time you see the stars in the night sky, or taste the sweetness of fruit, or watch rain fall from the clouds, remember Surah Al-An'am. Because in those simple everyday moments, you are witnessing signs of God in the universe.